Hey, everybody. It's Raymond from Christ Our Savior Evangelical Lutheran Church, and this is Conversations on Christianity. Today's conversation is going to be, did Jesus really exist? But before we get to that, let me thank everybody for watching all these videos that I've been putting out. It's been a lot more people have been watching it than I expected to start out, and people have been sharing it. I appreciate it so much. However, if you're going to leave a comment, please leave the comment on Christ Our Savior Evangelical Lutheran Church's Facebook page. People who share it and comment on the share videos, it's nearly impossible for me to see those comments, so I won't be able to reply or make videos. So we won't be able to keep the conversation going. But please continue to watch the videos, like it, share it. It helps me out so much. It helps encourage me to keep doing this, and I really appreciate it. But just make sure you leave the comments on our Facebook page. All right, so we're gonna do, did Jesus really exist? The short answer is yes, he did. But how do you tell, how do you convince somebody that he really did exist? We go to eyewitnesses. If you're gonna try to find out why or how that somebody exists, you ask somebody who seen that person. Even in the ancient times, we still use that. It's okay, hey, who witnessed this event? And we look at what they said about it. So our primary source to know that Jesus really existed is the Bible. It's all the eyewitnesses and the stories that they witnessed and testified to, including the fact that all the disciples, suffered a martyr's death except for St. John, and he was put on trial and to be executed, but he survived his execution. And back in the day, under Roman law, if you survive your execution, you're allowed to live. They can't re-execute you. But after his surviving his execution, they banished him to Patmos, which I guess it was a desolated island at the time, whatever. But the important thing is all the apostles and the eyewitnesses died, were murdered, confessing Jesus existed, that he was the Christ, and that he would come again. But a lot of people who oppose Christianity are just very unsure or untrustworthy of it, aren't going to believe one eyewitness. It's okay. It's hey, if it's just one, it would be he versus she said. You can't take just one person's account. So we're lucky where there were two other groups involved at the time of Jesus. One group was obviously the Jewish people. Jesus was a Jew. He was born in Israel, grew up there. But then the Israel people were also under Roman rule at that time. So there's the Jewish group, the Roman group, and Jesus and his disciples in that group. So that's three groups. The Romans, we have letters now that we can look at that are in museums and stuff, that these letters they confess that this guy Jesus really existed. Pontius Pilate, our guy, murdered him, and yet these people are these people still follow the guy that we murdered. So that's one group taking claim to Jesus really existing and that they murdered him. You don't take credit for murdering somebody who never existed. The other group is the Jewish people. The leaders of the Jewish religion particularly were also opponents to Jesus, They also witnessed Jesus, and there's records of them confessing Jesus, like in the Jewish rabbinicals. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. Rabbinicals, they have a an arrest warrant for Jesus. It states Jesus of Nazareth is practicing blaspheming and practicing sorcery, and that he should be brought to the Sanhedrin to be put to death. You don't put out an official arrest warrant for somebody who never existed. So we have both opponents of Jesus confessing that he really existed, and we have also the eyewitness confessing. So that's three eyewitnesses groups confessing Jesus existed. For most historians who who study this, all agreed, like, yeah, that's more than enough evidence for us to believe that he really existed. That's not to say, oh, they believe in the miracles that he did. They just confess that, yeah, all evidence points towards Jesus really existing. So that's, it's a really good foundation that we have, that if somebody asks, why do you believe in Jesus, who may not even really exist, you can be like, yeah, we have solid evidence that he did exist. And if he really existed, how about you figure out what he said and what he was about from the eyewitnesses who lived with him for 3.5 years, and wrote down what they saw, and were even to their death able to confess, this is what is true, here it is. So, we have a very strong foundation to know that Jesus existed. I hope this video helps, and let's keep the conversation going. And again, if you leave any comments, please continue to watch and share this video. And if you leave a comment, please leave the comment on our official Facebook page. Thank you. Have a good day.